Police log for the week of January 2nd through 9th, 2020. January 2nd, 1:30 a.m., noise complaints. Residents on Windsor, Westfield, Brooksmont, Concord, and High all complaining of fireworks. Quiet on arrival. Then 2 a.m., more complaints from the same areas about more fireworks. Still quiet on arrival. A mole maybe at HPD. Crash at Washington and Cross. A Brooklyn, New York driver tested Polly's exclusion principle on a Holliston driver. Animal incident on Hanlon. Caller complaining that a dog is running around the area unleashed and unsupervised. Women and children to get from street. Crash on Prentice involving 2 Holliston residents, and of course, neither Holliston driver was at fault. K9 Mattis practiced his tracking skills at 201 Summer Street. And there was an animal incident on the rail trail at Cross Street. Report of a possible sick raccoon. Dispatcher notified the ACO, who thinks that the raccoon is confused by the warm weather and just came out of hibernation. It was dispatched anyway. Highway called. You know, I've noticed more seniors around than usual this time of year, so based on what happened to the raccoon, they might want to stay out of sight for a while. January 3rd, 3 a.m., disturbance on Church Street. Report of a male and a female arguing. Then a second call came in before HPD could respond, canceling the first call. Make-up sex, maybe? I think the HCAT sensor just fainted. Animal incident on 140 South. Taunton driver struck a deer, causing major damage to his car. The deer left the scene, and Hometown Automotive was called. Then another crash, this time at 1485 Washington Street. A Connecticut driver hit a deer, but this time his car was okay, and the deer wasn't. Highway called. The freezer's getting full. January 4th. Except for one noise complaint, this was a quiet day. January 5th. Animal incident on Norland. An Amazon driver called to report that he was bitten by a dog and his pants were torn. The owner of the dog offered the driver a new pair of pants with free 2-day delivery. January 6th. Animal incident near 260 Hollis. A driver stopped to capture a dog running in the street. HPD called the ACO. Finally, the unlicensed, unregistered dog was returned to the owner. No mention of a fine or charges for wasting HPD and ACO time. An erratic driver was stopped by HPD on Concord. The driver stated that she just had an eye procedure and couldn't see. The blind driver was transported home. Apparently, there's nothing in the code book for issuing a ticket to a blind driver. January 7th, K9 Mattis was back at the police station looking for narcotics. No comment. Animal incident on Marshall. Report of a donkey in the road. Police went looking for the ass that let it out. The sensor fainted again. Suspicious activity in Winnakeene. Report of a strange object found in the woods. HPD was unable to locate the object. Not surprising, as Winnakeene Woods is 108 acres. K9 Mattis searched for Lowland Street for articles and evidence. What do you say we test him at the recycling center next Thanksgiving? January 8th, a suspicious activity at the New England Cannabis Company. Address withheld for obvious reasons. The same car showed up several times. Finally, a male tried to enter the building by the back door. Back door friends are best. Extra checks are requested. And finally, on January 9th, an animal incident at 800 Washington Street. A dead raccoon was reported on the road. Highway called. They're now serving raccoon tenders on the Barbie. During the reporting period, 33 citations and 26 warnings were issued. 4 erratic drivers were reported, and dispatchers logged over 400 calls. But wait, there's more. Your privacy is getting harder and harder to protect. Alexa hears everything that goes on in the room she's in. I imagine that soon even your mobile phones will listen in and send robocalls with ads to help you get through your day. So my advice is to turn off your phones before you enter the bathroom. Depending on the noise you make while you're in there, you could soon be getting ads for softer tissue, Gas X, or Preparation H, maybe even air fresheners. Well, that's the log for this week, so let's be careful out there. For the Holliston Police Log, this is Paul Saulnier. Holliston Police Log for April 22nd through 28th, 2020. Soccer players continue to ignore the lockdown, and residents let off steam with a little adult beverage. April 22nd. Property grounds check, Marshall Street soccer field. The chain was broken again and the gate was open. 3 people were detected, rejected, and ejected, so they wouldn't become infected. Animal incident on Highland. Dog sitter reports that the black lab mix got away and is headed towards the golf course. The collar's in more trouble than the dog. Animal incident on Arch. While walking a dog, caller reports that 2 unleashed dogs attacked her dog. No bites were landed. Case closed. Property grounds checked, Marshall Street soccer fields. The same group that was on the field earlier was back again and ejected. HPD isn't being taken very seriously. April 23rd, crash at 1077 Washington. A Milford driver hit a stone wall and lost a wheel. Bet that ended the phone call. Vehicle stop with summons, Washington and Hollis. Sergeant Waugh caught a Framingham driver in a smorgasbord of violations, including 90-10, no license, 89-4A, crossing over the center line. You learn not to do that when you study for the driver's license test. And 90-18, excessive speed. Hometown Automotive took his Hyundai, and he continued on his journey on foot. Property grounds check, Marshall Street soccer fields. 2 carloads of people from Bolton and Walpole were on the fields. 1 car owner was advised that he will be fined next time. Animal incident on Highland. Report of a dog barking for a long time. HPD found no one home, so the barking goes on. April 24th, smoke and fire at Great Meadows. Caller said that the basement is filled with smoke, determined to be a problem with the furnace. The fire department would have been a better first call. Property damage on Oak. Caller reports damage to his mother's car, determined to be caused by running errands. Not sure how they determined that, but I see 2 possibilities. Either the mother is a very senior citizen, or the son is a crafty teenager. Vehicle stop with summons, 1146 Washington. Lieutenant Lurini rewarded another Framingham driver for following too close. This guy's tailgating and there's only 1 other car on the road. On a roll, Lieutenant Lurini then issued 3 warnings and 1 citation to close out the day. April 25th, 1 a.m. noise complaint, Prospect Street. Loud outside party around a bonfire. Advised to quiet down. Looks like a Corona party. Crash, Washington and Hoppingbrook Road. Milford versus Manville, Rhode Island. Called in as a hit and run, but both cars were at the scene when HPD arrived. Someone had a guilty conscience. Property grounds check, Goodwill Park. Nobody on the grounds or on the fields. They're all up at Marshall Street. Community interaction, Officer Woods, patrolling on an ATV, checked the rail trail, parks, and playgrounds. Civil matter, Winter and Mellon. A Mellon Street resident nailed a dead-end sign to the caller's tree, who promptly tore it down. HPD explained to the Mellon Street sign hanger that not a throughway sign already there was enough. Suspicious activity on Norfolk. Report of a walker near the power lines. Checked okay. Seems that if you're not being taken for a walk by a dog, then you're deemed suspicious. April 26th, vandalism. St. Mary Cemetery. An abutter drilled holes in the stone wall and painted it without permission. Say 3 Hail Marys and remove the paint. Officer Loftus issued a citation to a Holliston driver for 90-7, problem with safety equipment, and 90-18, excessive speed. April 27th, a Waltham driver was pulled over and issued a verbal warning for a blinker violation. Sounds like this officer was a little bored. Crash on Bullitt and Central. A Framingham driver strayed off the pavement and got stuck in the mud. Hometown Automotive pulled him out. I wonder if he dropped his phone when that happened. April 28th, a vehicle stopped on the side of the road at Washington and Hoppingbrook Road. Checked okay. Told the officer he stopped to use his phone. Now that deserves an attaboy. Welcome to the Holliston Police Log for July 10 through 16, 2020. 72 traffic stops this week, of which only 10 were Holliston residents, but we can do better. And police are searching for 2 guys who are running in Winnickening Woods without any protection. July 10th, selective enforcement, rail trail crossing. No motor vehicle violations, but one person did utilize the crosswalk light. Press the button without falling down. Fraud on marked tree, fraudulent activity on a 401k account. I'm guessing they didn't add funds. July 11th, midnight, check prisoner. He must have snuck in. 7 a.m., prisoner released. Reminds me of the Andy Griffith Show when the town drunk gets to sleep it off in jail. That solar salesman has been appearing around town and disappearing when the sun goes down. Suspicious activity. Caller requested officers remove a party from the property on Knoll Drive. Caller doesn't know who it is, but he knows he's there and he wants him removed. Gone on arrival. Happy now? Follow-up check of Knoll Drive 2 hours later. Still gone. I wonder if he's related to the solar guy. July 12th. Animal incident in Highland. Dead skunk in the middle of the road. Highway called. Good luck with that. Vandalism on Winter. A vehicle was keyed with "I hate you" scratched on the side. So what were you expecting? I love you? Suspicious activity in Winnickening Woods. Calling party reported 2 white males between the ages of 18 and 20 running in Winnickening Woods. One party was wearing only a Cardinals baseball cap, and the other a pair of sneakers. No mention of any other outstanding features. Another call to highway about that dead skunk on Highland. Never mind, the buzzard took care of it. July 13th, power out for 500 homes in the Donna Road area. 5 traffic stops and a few attempts at defrauding our neighbors. Not bad for the 13th. July 14th, property damage. Hyperspace on Brook Street. Henry accidentally locked himself in last night and broke the gate to get out. What's wrong with spending a night with your stuff? Road hazard, Washington and Concord. A large TV fell off a truck. After highway removed it to the side of the road, they gathered around to watch reruns of Gilligan's Island. July 15th, animal incident on Cutler Heights. A walker reported a possum walking in the roadway, and a second caller to report the possum is injured. The dispatcher showed up and the possum played dead. Do you know the difference between a possum and an opossum? The opossum is Irish. Check a 911 call. A female could be heard crying hysterically before disconnecting. HPD tracked her down, and she said that she was having trouble with her phone. Well, no wonder she was hysterical. July 16th, complaint, Washington. A guy called 911 to report water coming into his apartment from an upstairs tenant. He wasn't sure if the tenant was in distress. Well, the downstairs one certainly was. And lastly, a crash at 747 Washington. The driver said she drove her vehicle through the fence behind the building. No reason given, and none needed. During the reporting period, 45 citations and 27 warnings were issued. 3 erratic drivers were reported, and dispatchers logged 633 calls. Canine Matters searched for articles and evidence. But wait, there's more. Did you notice that this was a COVID-free log? Continuing in this vein, this officer tries out for the rodeo, but decides to keep his day job. Roll tape. Well, that's the log for this week, so let's be careful out there. For the Holliston Police Log, I'm Paul Saulnier.